Okay, I get it. You've had enough of the noise outside, so it's time to take a little time to yourself. You need to keep your head while all about you are losing theirs, and this is the right time to do it. This video finds you just in time for when you're about to take your next period of intended isolation. Hi guys, I'm the metaphysical mechanic. I fix things in both the 3D world and in the metaphysical, which is all up here in your imagination. Today I've been asked to talk about intended isolation and the benefits it might have to you. Totally understand, being on your own can be a scary thing, but you can be alone and not lonely at the same time. When you've spent a lot of your life in groups of other people and you've said your goals, this, that and the other, and you will always get one niggling voice in that group that will go, I'm not sure you can do that. That will be the bad apple that rots the tree. My favourite Neville quote is "Go tell no man," which means exactly what it says on the tin. If you've got something in mind that you want to achieve, do not tell a single soul. Don't even tell your mum. If you're in a community with like-minded people, like myself, then by all means, maybe only tell one or two, if you really, really have to. Otherwise, zip it. However, we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about intended solitude. Now, intended solitude is exactly that. You decide that it's time to be on your own for a little while, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. In fact, it's probably one of the best things you will ever do on this journey. In certain experiences, you will find that solitude comes in several phases. The first might not be intended. It may come completely out of the blue, and you're looking around you and you're going, holy hell, I'm on my own. What do I do? It can be quite scary. So if you do feel a little bit of fear there, don't worry about it. After all, without fear, there is no courage. The second phase of solitude is usually one that you decide to take for yourself, and it's at that point you can sit there and take inventory. If all that's going on outside is not to your liking, it's time to go within. There's always dark before day, so spending time in that darkness is probably one of the best things you will ever do. It's also a good time to, let's say, confront your shadow as well. If there's parts of you that are screaming out to be paid attention to, it's a good time to sit there with it, sit there with the feeling, and confront that shadow in such a way where you give it all the love you possibly can. And then you'll find over time that that element of you no longer is something to be concerned about. Let's take a relationship, for example. You've recently come out of one. You're spending time on your own, trying to figure out what it is that you really want. And in the sense, you don't want to be alone. Now, sometimes you don't want to be, but sometimes you need to be, because that is the ideal time for you to confront that shadow. So if you're coming out of it all with feelings of not being good enough, not being enough, being too much even, it's a good time to sit there with yourself and with that particular feeling and then identify it. Identify it, but don't identify with it. A Shaolin headmaster, Shi Hong Yi, always uses the rain method. So there's R, which is recognize. That's to recognize what feeling's coming up. There's A, which is accept or acknowledge. So I'm feeling like this right now, and that's okay. I is investigate. So you need to figure out why you're feeling that way. And N is what's called non-identify. From experience, I've used this method so many times, and it has worked absolute wonders. Back to intentional solitude. It's quite often used when there's too much noise going on around you. The experiences that you really want are coming in, but maybe not in the way that you really wish for them to. But that's okay. That's not the be all and end all of what you wish to experience or what you are experiencing, because time goes. The world does not stop turning just because you've decided to stand still for a little while. So the phase of intentional solitude is always a good idea to take inventory of what you have and what you've already experienced. Show a little bit of gratitude. That's a superpower, by the way. So join the X-Men. And then you can start setting the foundations of what it is that you wish to experience moving forward. So if you wake up one day and go, I want to be married. It's like building a house. How can you build a house without laying the foundations first? It's about figuring out who you are, what your values, what your boundaries are, and what you tell the universe. After all, the universe always says yes. So if you're sitting there telling it, I'm not good enough for marriage, the universe is going to go, yes, you're not good enough for marriage, and it's going to continue giving you that kind of experience. So use that time to develop the assumption and the feeling of, I am a married person. I'm a married woman. I'm a married man. I'm abundant and live comfortably. It's also a little sign from the universe telling you to go big or go home. You cannot plant trees of abundance with seeds of scarcity. So if you do find yourself alone or in solitude, as it were, I don't like using the word alone. To me, it sounds a bit, deep and dark, but you are essentially on your own. There is nothing wrong with it. Absolutely nothing wrong with it. Sometimes the best company is the one you hold for yourself. And wealth is not defined by the things you have, but by the company you keep. So use that time to stay on your square, persist in what you want, and deal with anything that comes across it. That being said, I'd like to thank you for being here. If you've liked this video, please hit the like button, hit subscribe, hit the bell icon so you get notified of every one of my posts. I'm also doing lives on a Friday night. So join us at the tool shed. It's 10 o'clock on a Friday night. And I hope to see you there for a little bit of Q&A, and we'll get talking. Let's have some fun. Until then, thank you and be well.